Reminisce about the good old days in Carolina? What are you talking about?
Reminisce about what days?
The good old days in Carolina?
Oh, nope.
20 quarterback pressures from you, Abdul, and Burns.
Can't believe it's already week 5 in the NFL. If you can't tell, it feels like week 10 for me. This is the only NFL power ranking show that matters. Thank you guys for making it the most watched power ranking show on YouTube. I'm guessing. I did not check it all. I am Brandon Perna, master of curses, and after I rank the best teams in the league, I spin this curse wheel at the end of the show, and then bad things happen to whichever team it selects, okay? Took down the Colts last week. It's wreaked havoc on the Packers and Bengals. So let's see who it goes after next. If you like the video, maybe it won't get your team. Maybe. Let's head to the healing lights of heaven first. I'm gonna start by giving it to Tyreek Hill's leg, and only his leg. That does deserve some of heaven's healing light. But I also want to give some of the healing light to the entire Tennessee Titans team. They're not really injured, they're just that goddamn bad, and I feel sorry for them. And I'm preemptively placing quarterback Dillon Gabriel in heaven, as he is set to replace Joe Flacco in London against the Minnesota Vikings, who are set to play their second straight game over in Europe. So the Browns are choosing an overseas game against a Brian Flores defense to start Dillon Gabriel. Seems ill-advised, but Jackson Dart handled the Chargers last week. Fun fact, the last time the Browns had a quarterback start a full season was in 2020 with Baker Mayfield. I stand with Dillon's grass takes.
I think we should play more football on nice grass instead of the artificial stuff.
Dillon! I stand with your grass takes.
Dillon!
I stand with your grass takes. In purgatory, it's the Bengals skill players. Jake Browning can't throw the ball to Jamar Chase or T. Higgins to save his life. Cincinnati has 200 rushing yards total through 4 games. That's by far the worst in the NFL. Trade for Jameis Winston now and let us at least see your team lose some fun shootouts. Until Joe Burrow returns, you are in hell's waiting room. In hell, I'm gonna put Richard Sherman in there. The most petty, sorry-ass former player on TV.
When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're gonna get.
After the Russell Wilson benching last week, a big talking point for sports media became, is Russell Wilson a Hall of Famer? Tony Gonzalez made his case for a no on the Amazon show.
If ever there was somebody who played himself out of a Hall of Fame, it's Russell Wilson.
Russ's former teammate, Richard Sherman, simply agreed with Tony and took all the credit for the Seahawks Super Bowls.
Without that legendary defense, he's been 4-11, 7-8, 0-3 to start with the Giants.
I'll know the world is ending when Richard Sherman pays Russell Wilson a single compliment. You know what Russell Wilson has never said? Maybe if the Legion of Boom gave up fewer than 28 points to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, the Seahawks would have won that game. I don't think Russ is good at quarterback anymore, but Russ played several pretty solid years after the Boom dismantled in Seattle. Number 14, the Giants. That's right, New York. Now, you may only be here for 1 week, but Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo carried your giant asses to victory over a top 5 NFL team. Abdul Carter and Brian Burns have 39 combined pressures on the season. Burns is eating with 5 sacks so far this year, but it's just a matter of time before those pressures start turning into sacks for Carter. Losing Malik Neighbors is soul-crushing, but seeing 3 of your draft picks contributing this early, very nice. If you're a Giants fan, also go check out my favorite Giants guy on Instagram. _John Franklin _ His videos are very funny, and I think you'll appreciate them if you like the Giants. Number 13, the Packers. Wait for it. In a tie with the Bears and Cowboys at Lucky 13. I don't know if any of these teams are good. I don't know if any of these teams are bad. I know the Cowboys' offense is very good, even if Dak doesn't know what a sack is. If the Packers want to get back into the contender conversation, their defense needs to figure out how to eat when Micah Parsons is drawing double teams and generating a bunch of quarterback pressures. The Bears should have blown out the Raiders with those 3 gifts from Geno Smith. Max Crosby was a big reason why the Raiders hung around in that game. If I'm the Bears, I'm calling the Rams to see if they still have their Stafford cloning equipment. I'd suggest trying to clone Joe Tooney 4 times. They're starting with a more reasonable solution, though, I guess, and they're benching tackle Braxton Jones and giving Theo Benedette the start. Ben Johnson's honeymoon with the media might be over, but the one between Caleb and Rome Odunze might just be starting. Rome has scored a touchdown every game this season. The last Bear to do that through the first 4 games was Walter Payton. Sweetness! That's 39 fucking years, Chicago! Joe Flacco, Calais Campbell, Matt Prater, Nick Folk, and Aaron Rodgers are the only active NFL players who were alive the last time that happened. Number 12? Oh, the mighty have fallen. I got the Chargers. The Chargers did the most Charger thing possible. They started hot with a 3-0 record, then traveled to New Jersey and lost to a team with an 0-3 record. A big piece of that was the Chargers had more penalty yards than the Giants had net passing yards. Bolt up your doors. Hide your wives.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Because the chargering is finally back and it's ready to ruin your life. Justin Herbert played his worst game of the season. And that's what happens when both of your starting tackles are injured. Joe Alt is expected to miss several weeks with a high ankle sprain. Mekhi Becton didn't play in Jersey with a concussion. LA is now in survival mode. They have the Commanders, the Dolphins, the Colts, Vikings, and Titans coming up. Come out of that stretch with a winning record, and maybe the Chargers can resume form with Joe Alt and Khalil Mack returning to the lineup at some point. I have to give credit to Chargers Muse for this way too accurate new logo. Number 11, the 49ers. They're another 3-0 team that fell to a previously inferior opponent. The bad, or maybe good news for the Niners is that Brock Purdy is being evaluated for re-aggravating his toe injury, which might force the undefeated McCorkle Jones back into the lineup. If we get through 1 week where I don't hear about a new 49ers injury, I might be able to believe in you, San Francisco. My prediction, though, is you're going to be completely off the power rankings next week. Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks and my code TGS. Link in the description. Jake Browning had one of the worst games of any quarterback last week, but he ruined my Broncos picks by somehow not throwing a pick. Otherwise, I'd have 7 wins this season. 2,300 of you are following me on Prize Picks. Thank you. I'm enjoying the sign-up names. I'm here for Perna, Crusty Musty Sock, Boverthrows, Broccoli Rob, which is great Office reference, the Big KOC, and of course Bonito. You can see my picks in the feed if you follow me at Prize Picks. I can see your picks because I'm following back, and I'm getting risky this week with an all-rushing lineup. Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Devin Achane, Monty, and James Cook. I'm going for more yards, more rushing yards on all of those guys. And look, hitting on 5 stat guesses is difficult, so I suggest sticking to 2 to 3 if you want to have a better chance to win. Every 200 signups gives me a bonus, which helps me pay for Will, for Johnny, for Connor to keep these videos coming out on time. And my new goal this season is 6,000 signups by the Super Bowl. If we do that, I'm going to drive to Kansas City and I'll drop at least $1,000 at Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's steakhouse as a punishment for your enjoyment. I'll make a video of me eating their overrated food at whatever dumb fuck name that restaurant is, so keep that in mind. Okay? Keep that in mind if we can get to 6,000 signups by the Super Bowl. Number 10, yeah, the Chiefs. I know, I can't believe I'm putting you this high on the list. We got a vintage Mahomes performance on Sunday, which is a crazy thing to say about a quarterback who's only 30 years old. Maybe the most consequential thing that happened in Chiefs Kingdom took place on Monday. Tyreek Hill was lost for the season, meaning he's not going to be traded to Kansas City, so they're going to have to make do with whatever scrubs they have at wide receiver. After returning from his dislocated shoulder, Xavier Worthy was the Chiefs' leading rusher and receiver, and really just opened up the entire offense against what is now a bad and injured Ravens defense. If Worthy goes down again, I suggest Kansas City convert Leo Chanel to receiver. considering he was the best Ravens receiver on Sunday. No cap, Kansas City. Great win. Great win. And I do want to express some go fuck yourself, Kansas City. I see what you're doing. Slowly getting better every week. I'll never stop fucking you.
Number 9.
The Jaguars! Regardless of the shit he started with Bobby Saleh at the end of the game, Liam Cohen has the best record of any Jaguars head coach through 4 games at 3-1. The defense is producing turnovers at a historic rate, and the offense is doing just well enough to keep up with a much improved defense. I have no idea how Jacksonville added so much girth to their D in one offseason, but I want in on the secret. And don't tell me it's joking. I know that's an Urban Meyer, urban legend. I think Cole Van Lanen did an excellent job stopping an overly aggressive Fred Warner from taking a cheap shot on Trevor Lawrence on the kneel down. I have no idea how Van Lanen saw this coming, considering the Jags don't kneel down for victory very often, but impressed. And let's hear it for the Jags stat leaders right now. Devin Lloyd tied for first in interceptions with 3. Jordan Lewis tied for second in interceptions with 2. Travis Etienne third in rushing yards at 394. Foye Oluokun tied for second in forced fumbles this season. Number 8, the Seahawks. Here's a stat that I think works really well in Sam Darnold's favor. The Seahawks lead the league in runs that lost yards or went for no gain with 33 on the year. That means they're still struggling to run the ball effectively and consistently. And holy shit, the Seahawks might have gotten off of Geno Smith at the exact right time, because his running back just scored 3 touchdowns and he managed to lose the fucking game. Meanwhile, Sam Darnold's completing 70% of his passes with the league best 9.1 yards per attempt. Seahawks fans, go grab a pair of clean underwear, okay? Because you're about to make a mess in your pants. Go grab them, I'll wait. You ready? Gaze at this quarterback chart, Seattle. No, look up towards the top right corner. I know you're not used to looking there. That little green dot is your quarterback. He is crushing all of the nerd numbers. First in turnover-worthy plays, third in success rate, and third in adjusted completions. Speaking of completion, are you glad you got that extra pair of unmentionables? Number 7, the Buccaneers. The Bucs are a bit of a strange case study. Under Todd Bowles, the team is 11-5 in their first 4 games of the season. In the next 4 games, they're just 2-10. It's not going to get any easier because their next 4 are against the Seahawks, 49ers, and Lions. And then the Saints, so maybe it does get a bit easier at the end, but this is the part of the season where they need to differentiate themselves in the NFC and from the Buccaneers of the past. Keep feeding Bucky Irving. That's my recommendation. Run or pass. Just give him the ball. He needs 25 touches a game. And as soon as I said Bucky Irving's name, he sprained his goddamn ankle. Most importantly, you play Seattle, and we're getting a top 3 all-time uniform matchup. Whoever wins that game gets to claim sexiest team alive. Coming in at 666, the Colts. Now I've been placing the team who benefited the most from Devil Magic here. Devil Magic, our only flavored coffee, available at benchwarmershop.com, as are all of our shirts. We got the Texas Dumpster Fire Barbecue. These are new. They're available there now. So, Benchwarmer Shop. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the team that benefited from Devil Magic usually gets this spot. I kind of think that was the Cowboys this week. But instead, since it's my show and I can do whatever I want, I'm dropping the Colts here at 666.
I run the show completely.
Because they were the team most adversely affected by Devil Magic. Poor A.D. Mitchell was the embodiment of bad luck, of a curse, of a shoot yourself in the foot type performance, where the only thing that can explain it are the dark arts.
I have the power.
Oh, God.
Of the dark arts.
Oh, God.
Now, rookie tight end Tyler Warren officially has the most receiving yards through 4 weeks by any rookie tight end in NFL history. 147 of his yards coming after contact. He's incredible. But a guy who is starting to break out, like 15-year-old me is second-year defensive end Layatu Latu. He has the second highest PFF grade for edge players. He generated 9 pressures last week, plus a sack and a week 1 pick in Miami. Had the Colts not been robbed of 2 touchdowns from Mitchell, they'd be 4-0 this week. They outplayed the Rams and still lost. That is a curse's curse if I've ever seen one.
I think you may have been cursed.
Do as you think!
Number 5, I've got the Steelers. The Steelers defense has cranked it up to 11. 2 shitty weeks to start the season, but over the last 2 weeks, they have 11 sacks with 49 quarterback pressures and 7 takeaways. Is that sustainable? I don't really know. But if Pittsburgh does sustain that level of defensive play, Aaron Rodgers is perfectly suited to be a high-end game manager and have the Steelers finishing in first place in a wide-open AFC North. Ben Skoranek started a shoving match before flopping to the ground after getting a little pushback. I guess when you're in Europe, you do as the Europeans do. Good job, Ben. Although it would have been funnier if he did his Irish jig after flopping successfully. TJ Watt, too, finally returned. No sacks weeks 1 and 2. Weeks 3 and 4, 3 sacks, an interception, and a forced freaking fumble. Number 4, the Rams. I said the Colts outplayed you, LA, and I kind of meant it. But teams who find a way to win despite getting outplayed are typically the most dangerous.
You ever done anything dangerous?
I highlighted Puka Nacua in winners and losers, so I want to shout out 2 other guys balling. Quarterback Matthew Stafford, who didn't practice all preseason with a back injury. Fuck, he might be the clone of Stafford, we don't know. Whatever treatment he got in that Airstream, it is working. Playing a very good Colts defense, Matthew Stafford had the quietest 375-yard, 3-touchdown passing game of, I don't know, the last few years.
Don't look at me! Don't look at me! See ya! See ya!
Also want to mention defender Byron Young. Into the Jared verse gets most of the attention, but Byron Young is tied for first place in the league with Brian Burns as the NFL sack leaders with 5 apiece on the season. He had 7.5 sacks last year, so he's on a personal best pace. Plus, Young has a forced fumble. The Rams' defensive front is good because they generate pressure from many different places, and Young is playing a very nice Robin to versus Bat Spider. Number 3, the Bills. The Bills' offense is great. It trails only the Lions in points per game right now at 33.3. I knew Buffalo was running the ball effectively, but I did not realize they were number 1 in the NFL right now at 163 yards per game. They're averaging almost as many yards as the Bengals have rushing all season. The defense is what concerns me a little bit. They're very middle of the road at the moment, allowing 22.5 points per game. The funny part is that's just a half a point worse than my top 2 teams. The good news is they will get Matt Milano and Ed Oliver back at some point, and Oliver was playing really well before getting injured. I'm mostly waiting, though, for the Bills to beat a real team. The Patriots come to town, and I almost put the Patriots in the rankings today, so check back next week, Bills Mafia. Coming in at 2.5, J.K. Dobbins, and only J.K. Dobbins. Not only did J.K. Dobbins become the first 100-yard Broncos rusher in 38 games, he speaks Spanish.
Pero Bo Nix es especial.
Dual threat, Duolingo.
Tenemos que siguiendo con great play.
Dobbins averaged 6.3 yards per carry last week, and I'm not exaggerating when I say Sean Payton getting him 15 touches minimum every week is the most important thing he can do for the offense in year 2 with Bo Nix. I love J.K. Dobbins.
Solo escucho reggaeton y dembow y bachata, así que me gusta mucho.
Also at 2.5, I said only, but I also am adding Shedeur Sanders, who turned into a mime when asked questions in the Browns locker room, presumably to avoid more Rex Ryan criticism.
Vocally, anything to say about it?
That's the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen a player do. And I respect it. Number 2, go Birds. The team that continues to win in mysterious ways is the Eagles. Philly's defense is being led by the youth.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
Rookie linebacker Jihad Campbell. He's playing as well as any linebacker in the league right now. Second-year corners Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell are locking dudes down. Mitchell played lights out against Tampa. He was insane. Baker threw his way 9 times, and Mitchell allowed just 2 receptions and 6 yards. He also had 5 tackles and was credited with 5 passes defended. It felt like he was 2 guys finding ways to be in 2 places at once. If he keeps up that pace, he's going to be in discussion as a top 3 corner this year. Possibly Defensive Player of the Year discussions. Saquon Barkley is yet to have a 100-yard rushing game. They play my Broncos this week, and I'm terrified. I'm terrified that dam is going to break all over my Broncos. Number 1, the Lions. Yes, I think the Lions are the best team in the NFL right now. I know Philly and Buffalo are undefeated, but I think the Lions are playing best in all 3 phases of the game. Jared Goff is a top 5 QB pretty much every week. They have 2 ways to beat opponents in the run game. Incredible offensive line play and playmakers catching passes. Amon-Ra's 6 touchdown grabs leads the league right now. Most importantly for them on defense, Aiden Hutchinson is officially back. He's coming off a 2-sack game, plus had a forced fumble in their 34-10 domination of the Browns that got Joe Flacco benched. The Lions' defense may have ended elite Joe Flacco's career. Plus, the Lions avoided disaster. Corner DJ Reed will be back this season after suffering a hamstring injury against the Browns. I think they're going to place him on the short-term IR, but he was carted off the field against Cleveland, so that's a relief. Terrion Arnold may only miss a week as well. Not ideal, but better than expected. The good news for the Lions is they don't need any corners to stop the Bengals this week. Now let's spin this pesky little wheel.
Me gusta mucho que Bad Bunny, a.k.a. Bonito, El Bonito, El Conejo Malo.
Let's spin this bad boy. Don't forget, it's gonna be a good one. Benchwarmershop.com, all your cursed logo shirts, plus coffee, plus my Broncos tickets giveaway. You can click the Broncos tickets tab for the Broncos Cowboys game here in Denver. I'm giving those away. What do we got? 8. Ooh, 8. I'm not stalling because I'm trying to remember who's on 8. No way. I put Seattle there, right? Let me check. Yes, it's the Seahawks. Oh, my Sam Darnold love, my hype. Sammy D versus Baker Mayfield. You're welcome, Tampa. Don't ever say I didn't do anything for you. Thanks for watching. Week 5 Power Rankings. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe here, download the video, have it converted into a VHS copy, and then send that to your weird uncle to watch the show.